Well, I'm here with William, and on Sunday we heard a little bit about what he's doing this coming year, and I thought it would be great for us to have a bit of an extended conversation to hear a little bit more about his upcoming gap year. So, William, for those of us who potentially haven't heard on Sunday what it is you're doing, why don't you tell us what it is you're going to do this academic year?
Well, this year I'm going off to an organisation called Birmingham City Mission to do a gap year. Yeah.
Great, fantastic. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about Birmingham City Mission? What are they all about?
So they're an organisation based in Birmingham, obviously, that spread the gospel throughout Birmingham, and that is their number one sort of goal and mission is to see lives changed and lives given to Jesus throughout the whole of Birmingham, and they do that in multiple ways, which we'll get onto in the rest of the interview.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So they look to advance the gospel in different ways. So what will you be doing during your year at Birmingham City Mission?
So again, they spread the gospel in a number of different ways. One of those ways is sort of street evangelism. So on around 2 days a week, we'll be going off to the city centre, and we will be sharing the gospel in a more open way and telling people about Jesus. But we also do different things as well. So we give some assemblies in schools. I'm not sure how that will look at the moment with the current situation. But also relief work with vulnerable people and going door to door in some cases, spreading the gospel. So there's a wide range of ways that Birmingham City Mission share the gospel.
That's amazing. So Will, some of that stuff you've just said sounds really exciting, but also some of it sounds quite nerve-wracking, to be honest. Like the idea of street evangelism, I think would make quite a lot of people nervous. And so 2 questions for you. What are you excited about? But also, what are you nervous about this coming year?
I mean, I'm excited because I feel like I'm not, in one sense, I'm happy to have moved on from school. I'm happy to now be doing sort of things I want to be doing. So it's lovely I've always wanted to do a gap year doing this sort of thing. So it's really nice to now be doing something like that. And more specifically, I'm excited because when we're pushed out of our comfort zones, that's when we see God most clearly, and we rely on Him. And that's what I'm excited about most is being forced to rely on God more. And hopefully, as I do that, my faith grows. And that's the main thing I'm excited about is going there and relying on God to see me through. And that links quite well into what I'm nervous about, because there's a lot I'm nervous about. So, like, street evangelism is quite nerve-wracking for me. I'm a bit worried about it. I'm quite a shy person. That kind of stressed me out, the thought of that. Also, just leaving home, I'm nervous about that. I've, of course, never left home, and it's all quite scary. Just practical things like what people do at home. That's the one, and all that sort of stuff. But also just sort of leaving the people I love at home and stuff like that is tough. So in a way, kind of what I'm excited about and what I'm nervous about are similar things. And,
yeah. Well, that sounds brilliant, Will. And so, what do you hope to get out of this year? Because not everybody does a gap year, but it is a commendable thing to do, particularly spending a year within a Christian ministry. And so, what is it you hope to get out of this year?
Well, I think the number one thing is for me to come out of it with a greater love for Jesus, and being more like Him. That's the number one thing. If anything happens, it doesn't matter if that's happened for me. That's always the number one thing. In terms of more, sort of on a more practical level as well, I'm hoping to go to theological college, and so it gives me quite a good experience before I go there into what it's like actually sharing the gospel in the real world. And so that's a more practical thing. Yeah, I just hope and pray that I know the Lord better through this year.
That's amazing. That's really encouraging to hear you say all these things, Will. And we'll be looking forward to hearing all about it at the points that you come home, whether that's at Christmas or at the end of the year. But now, Will, what is it that as a church we can be praying for?
I think mostly is what I've just been saying, that I would grow in love for the Lord Jesus, but also that I would be given boldness to preach the gospel, and I'll be filled with the Spirit as I go about this year to try and bring people to Jesus. I think that's those two are the main things that would grow in my faith, and that I'll be courageous in sharing it. But then also praying, I think, for how we'll work in the COVID situation, that I would stay safe and the people in the team would stay safe, and that we still are able to share the gospel in a meaningful way in it. And also just for practical things as well, leaving home is a bit scary. So just that I'll be fine with that, and I would be able to cook and clean and stuff like that.
Brilliant. Prayers for cooking and cleaning. I love that at the end. But no, seriously, we can pray about that for sure. And I'm certain, Will, that many members of St. Patrick's will be wishing you well as you start your gap year, and we will be praying for you throughout this year. If you're watching this and you want to know more about Birmingham City Mission, then they will have a website to go to, and or get in touch with William, and he'd love to answer your questions. When Will comes back, I'm sure we'll catch up with him then and find out all about how the year has gone. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.